A man in custody in Eaton County accused in 2 homicides, and police say he had plans to kill again. A mother in Montcalm County is facing murder and child abuse charges.
I wanted to come up to this second level here to just give you an idea of how big this event is.
Albion police officer, who we should note has since been fired, punching 13-year-old Davion Cieslak, and the whole thing was caught on the homeowner's security cameras. Take a look at this. Pretty shocking stuff. It happened on Capitol Avenue around 3 a.m. There goes the bottle.
Gymnastics on the Grand is happening this weekend. 2,400 gymnasts will be there.
Tide is certainly gloomy, a little bit breezy out there, but we have some sunshine to look forward to. You didn't see that game. You missed out. Go ahead and watch it again. Police in East Lansing, though, are reminding students to be careful with how they celebrate following those big games.
Oh! The Attorney General's office calling just one witness today, Amanda Tomashow, who saw Dr. Larry Nasser right here at MSU in 2014.
Certainly sounds like a good idea, but MSP says new legislation would have to be passed for camera footage to be used in court, eliminating that requirement for an officer to actually witness that crime. So that's a hurdle right there. Yeah, fingers crossed. It's a question a lot of people are asking. You may remember the bridge was stuck open last Memorial Day weekend and has had multiple issues since then. The Indiana man accused of threatening to shoot President Trump during his rally here in Grand Rapids last month is now facing federal charges. Just keep in mind, this is only to decide if there's enough evidence to send Simon's case to trial. He said that Mother Nature could do whatever at once, but Danny, please don't. Nearly 1 year after MSU's interim president John Engler took on the job, he's now stepping down. Now on Fox 17 News at 4, the debate over auto insurance heating up in Lansing. The governor says she's reached a deal with Republican lawmakers, but nothing is set in stone yet. We'll have the latest live from the Capitol.
More than 100 people drowned in the Great Lakes last year, including 3 right out here.
Last summer, a deadly one on Lake Michigan, but officials in Grand Haven are working to change that. What's being added to the beach to keep swimmers safe?
Gray skies will continue tonight and through at least part of tomorrow, along with some rain and thunderstorm chances. But we do expect plenty of sun with temperatures closer to average for this time of year before the weekend is over.
Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Andy Szatkowski. This is Fox 17 News at 4.
From the station with the most local news, Fox 17 News at 4 starts right now.
First at 4 o'clock, 5 Catholic priests in Michigan are now facing charges accused of abusing children, including one who was a part of the Kalamazoo Diocese. Our Atra Elnashar joins us in the newsroom with more on today's announcements. Disturbing stuff, Atra. Thank you. A man has been arrested for indecent exposure at a local mall, and he may be the same suspect from a similar incident at Millennium Park. Jacob Forbes is arraigned this afternoon, accused of exposing himself to an employee at Rivertown Mall. Grenville police released these surveillance photos this morning, and within an hour, Forbes had been identified and taken into custody. They say he could be the very same suspect right here who approached a woman at Millennium Park that same day without any pants. That case is still being investigated. The state legislature may be a step closer to lowering car insurance rates. That's some good news. The governor is calling it a bipartisan effort to save drivers hundreds of dollars per year, but this isn't a done deal quite yet. Fox 17's Darren Cunningham is live in Lansing, where the State House is still debating it right now. Darren? All right, Darren, thank you for the update. We'll keep an eye on it. The Supreme Court putting a hold on court orders to redraw electoral maps in Michigan and Ohio. Michigan was facing an August 1st deadline to redraw those maps after judges found Republicans who controlled the redistricting process in 2011 gerrymandered districts to benefit Republican candidates. The High Court is delaying those changes as it debates similar cases out of Maryland and North Carolina because that ruling will likely affect what's happening in Michigan and Ohio. Those rulings expected to come down by the end of June. All right, turning to weather now with a live look over downtown Grand Rapids, where, as you can see, it's been a very gray start to the holiday weekend, and it looks like the chance for rain will be sticking around for a bit. Meteorologist Szatkowski joining us now in the Weather Center with a more detailed look at our holiday forecast. Ty? Well, things look quiet out in Grand Haven right now, but that will be changing this weekend. And with a deadly season on the water last year, officials are doing whatever they can to keep swimmers safe this summer. Our Sarah Grimmer joins us live in Grand Haven with some changes that you may notice on the beach. Well, man is in critical condition after being stabbed in Holland last night. Police called to Bay Point Apartments around 10 o'clock, and that's where they found a 30-year-old man lying in the grass with a stab wound to his neck. He was conscious and told investigators that he and his friends were hanging out at his apartment when a fight got out of hand. Police are still looking for that suspect. Anyone with information is asked to call police or Silent Observer. And Battle Creek police are asking for your help identifying this robbery suspect. We're told this man right here robbed a cash checking business around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. Police say he's about 5'5" with a stocky build and is in his mid to late 20s. If you recognize him or have any information, call the number right there on your screen. We'll still ahead here at 4 o'clock. We've been telling you about flooding on Crooked Lake for nearly a year now, and homeowners say they've had enough. Now they've filed suit against the county drain commissioner. Why they say he dropped the ball. Coming up.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, tonight. I'm Doug Reardon.
And I'm Szatkowski. First here at 11 o'clock, a disturbing discovery at an apartment in Sturgis after police got an anonymous tip about a man storing a woman's body there.
Fox 17's Julie Dunmeyer with us in the newsroom with more on this very strange case. Julie?
All right, well, golfers having a late start to the season, and guess what? The rain is to blame. At Lincoln Country Club, some of the greens are cornered off because of how wet it is. That means no golf carts are allowed in that area, and some days have been so wet that they haven't allowed golfers to take out a cart on the course at all. Even parts of the course look more like a pond even. Thursday, golfers took advantage of this dry day to get in a round of golf while the good weather lasts.
We really check the weather and the radar a lot. So we do that in the morning, we do it all throughout the day while we're here, and we try our best to be able to keep the course open, to keep the golf carts open, and allow people to get out because we want people to golf and come out and enjoy themselves.
The good news here is at this point in the season, Lincoln Country Club has managed to stay open without closing their greens entirely. All right, Kevin, thank you. Well, it's not what you would expect to see at a park and in broad daylight, no less. But a woman says she was out walking her dog when a man approached her not wearing any pants.
Yeah, quite a startling situation. And tonight, police are still looking for him.
Well, one man is dead after a shooting in Muskegon Heights. It happened around 10 last night at the East Park Manor Apartments. Police say they are still looking for a suspect, but they have tracked down his vehicle. We're told it's likely the two men knew each other. So if you know anything about this case, call police or Silent Observer. Meantime, a new building going up on Pier Marquette Beach being met with a whole lot of criticism this week. And now we're learning the city is already planning some changes. This new watercraft facility from Third Coast Rentals is what seems to be the problem, but it's not about the business itself. Instead, residents and beachgoers say where it's being built is blocking the view of the pier, the lighthouse, and Lake Michigan. The spot is perfect for sightseeing year-round, so you don't even have to get out of your car for a good look. But one resident says neighbors didn't get any input on where the city was planning to build it.
Based on what I understand, the usage, they're going to talk to the people here. They're going to rent these vehicles, the watercrafts here, but then they're going to go somewhere else to launch them and then come around. But I would have thought if down the south end somewhere, down by the filtration plant, there was a bathroom building down there. They could have had it down there. They could have been just as close to the shore, the water shore, but it had been in the big lake and not in the arms.
Are you disappointed that the city approved it?
Yes, I am. I think from what I've heard, there was a lot of objection to it by people who use the beach a lot.
Well, the city seems to have taken all the backlash to heart. The city manager tells us they are now working to move that building to the dune area near the NOAA station so people can continue enjoying that view.
All's well that ends well. 500 seniors at West Ottawa High School walked across the stage for their diplomas tonight, but not before getting a speech from one of their beloved teachers at the school.
Fox 17's Aaron Parsegian has more on his very unconventional path and the surprise ending to that ceremony.
Be careful what you joke about. Right?
I know, right? What an incredible ceremony and a great message for all those kids out there. Again, not where you start, but how you finish. This has happened around 12:30 last night at the Marathon gas station right at the corner of Leonard Northwest and Alpine. Employees who didn't want to go on camera telling me that the man who was shot is actually a regular there, even doing some odd jobs at the station at one point. Meantime, witnesses say that scene was pretty chaotic.
I kind of got scared and I had my babies with me, and so we just hurried up and got on the street.
Guadalupe Harwood describing the scene at the Marathon gas station Wednesday morning.
I seen a man standing by the air pump, and he wasn't saying anything, he wasn't doing anything, and he was a Caucasian man, and the cop just stopped by my car and then just zoomed up, turned off all his lights, and then the guy started walking toward the sidewalk. He was trying to get out of the parking lot or whatever.
Grand Rapids police say they had gotten a welfare call about that man just after midnight, saying he was sending videos threatening to harm himself. Police finding him at the gas station on the northwest side shortly after.
Officers responded there, did locate the suspect. He was reported to have a handgun on his person and was threatening suicide, as well as harm to officers if confronted.
Police say the man did have a gun and an officer fired rounds hitting the subject.
It was like fop, fop, fop.
Antonaria Harden was just up the street when she heard the gunshots.
We was going to Speedway to get some snacks and stuff. And then we heard the siren, so you know it was going to be nosy. But before we can get here, the shots fired. It was probably like 5, 6 shots.
It's unclear where that man was hit, but he was taken to the hospital where he underwent surgery. He is said to be in stable condition.
Now, again, the man who has been shot has not been identified yet. The officer involved has been placed on administrative leave per department policy as state police take over that investigation.
Just like a trampoline, life is full of ups and downs. And 11-year-old Jayla wants to help people at their lowest.
If someone's struggling, I feel like I could help them out.
Jayla and her 9-year-old brother Jaheim love to joke around, play, and just be goofy. When it comes to school, Jayla prefers math and social studies.
Well, I like math because I like doing order of operations, and I like to add up things and do story problems.
Whereas Jaheim loves getting lost in a book.
You don't have to pack your bag to actually go to that place. When you open the book, you go to that place.
Wow! That was really good! Jaheim is curious and has lots of questions.
Were dragons real? Did you know the zodiac sign of a Sagittarius?
He's also full of wisdom.
When you turn the age, you don't actually feel different.
Jayla says she wants to be a singer when she grows up, and it's easy to see why.
Just fight a little longer, my friend. It's all worth it in the end. But when you got nobody to turn to, just hold on and I'll find you. I sing a lot. I've been singing ever since I was like 4.
Jayla says even when her little brother gets on her nerves, she's always looking out for him. And now she'd like a family to do the same for them both.
I just want a family that can really care about me, a family who knows what's best for me, a family that knows what I do right. I want a family that helps me out whenever I'm struggling.
That woman's name is Larissa Boyce, believed to be one of the first female gymnasts to tell then MSU head gymnastics coach Kathy Klages about questionable treatments she received from Larry Nassar more than 20 years ago. She says her claims sadly never made it to police or administrators at MSU, telling me that if Klages had taken action, she and hundreds of other women wouldn't have the same stories to tell.
She truly enabled him.
Vivid memories for Larissa Boyce, 1997 at Spartan Youth Gymnastics Club, sitting down with Kathy Klages, questioning uncomfortable treatments by Larry Nassar.
She sat down and said, well, I can file something, but it's going to cause a lot of trouble for both you and Dr. Nassar.
Klages never filed a police report and didn't tell Larissa's parents. Larissa says all these years later, she wishes she had gone to anyone else.
I did not want to talk about it with anybody after that night because I felt so humiliated and embarrassed and, stupid for even bringing that up.
Guilted into silence, instead questioning herself.
I mean, he was the gymnastics Dr. God.
And continuing her treatment.
At my next appointment, he sat me down and asked me about it, talked to me about it, and I apologized to him. I said it was all my fault, all a big misunderstanding. So sorry. And then, I hopped back up on the table and he continued to abuse me.
The abuse continued for more than 4 years, even after Larissa stopped doing gymnastics.
I lost all joy in the sport. I felt like I was in trouble every single time I went to practice. I felt like everybody was looking at me and thinking that I was a liar or trying to get attention by saying what I said.
Confusing, buried pain until 2016 when another survivor, Rachel Denhollander, went public with her abuse allegations. Even then, it took Larissa months to come to terms with the truth.
I'm still processing it. It's hard to after 20 years of believing that I was thinking of it wrong, 20 years of believing that this was medical treatment.
In January, Larissa, along with hundreds of other survivors, showed the world they wouldn't be ignored any longer.
I am letting go of the hold you had in my mind. I am releasing you to God and His judgment. You are in His hands now.
Larissa says writing her victim impact statement for Nassar's sentencing using her name instead of Jane Doe was one of the hardest things she's ever done.
Even during the week of sentencing, I was revising it, adding more to it, and I think even the morning that of the day that I actually gave my statement, I was still revising stuff.
She says having Judge Aquilina presiding over the case made the process almost therapeutic, especially when Nassar didn't want to hear what his victims had to say.
What I did in the state cases was medical, not sexual. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
It was just, are you kidding me? From everything that he put us through and what we're going to have to deal with for years and years, he can't sit in that room and listen to how he's hurt us for a couple days.
But he did listen to them, every single one.
It was a weight lifted off of me. I still feel like there's so much that needs to be done.